Wall of Sound, we're at Night and Day Festival, the first one with headliners of day one, Polaris. Jamie Hales, welcome back to Wall of Sound.
Hey, how we doing?
It's been a very long time in between drinks.
It has.
Literally, the last time we caught up was Unify, just before the shit hit the fan.
A couple of days, it'll be 2 years ago.
That's
legit.
exactly right. And now here we are 2 years later. A lot has changed in that time. The first question is, how has Polaris grown with everything you've been through over these past 2 years?
I mean, the band has still been kicking on strong, even though we haven't really done anything. Since Unify, we've done 6 shows, which was from the beginning of the Victorian, the Vagabond tour.
That's right.
We did the North Queensland shows, and then we got to squeeze in Canberra the night before New South Wales went into lockdown.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's what we've done in the past 2 years, but we've been busy. Like we've been, doing a bit of writing behind the scenes and stuff. Obviously, like we're still writing The Death of Me, which is still going on really strong, which is fantastic because we haven't been able to tour the damn thing.
Which is it's so hard because it was such an amazing album. It was my album of the year that year it came out.
Thank you.
And then we got to see the show in Brisbane, and then that's it. That's
legit.
The last show we saw was Polaris, and then just the rest of the world hasn't had the opportunity to see this amazing album. But the question is, are you guys already moving on to new material, or do you still want to hold on to that album as long as possible?
I mean, like while it's still going on strong, I'd like to keep pushing it as far as we can go before we release anything new. Like obviously we've been working on stuff regardless because like with how much of a headache the last album was, we don't want to end up in the situation like we did last time where we were trying to jam in recording an album between multiple different tours because we like pretty much without realizing burnt ourselves out pretty hard. So we've been busy trying to get a bit of a head start in the background, even though like I said the album is still going on really strong, which is great, and we still got to tour this thing as much as we can, and we can't wait to be able to take it around to the rest of the world before we do release anything new. So
well, that's exactly what we're looking forward to, I guess, because you've got the Australian tour that you're doing with Make Them Suffer, and then obviously you're going to head overseas at some point because there was a golden opportunity to play that massive festival, the Impericon Festival, which was taken away sadly.
We I mean, obviously, as every other band around the world, like everything got canned, rescheduled all last year and even this year. We had a lot of stuff that hadn't even been announced that was originally going to happen in 2020, like multiple tours overseas and stuff that has been, put on the back burner. And like we do have some stuff to announce soon by the looks of it. I mean, depending on how the world is at the moment, but like there is stuff that is in the works for tours overseas, and that it's just if we can make it happen or not with everything's so much damn uncertainty at the moment. It's a damn pain, but we are planning to take this record worldwide before we release anything. So.
Beautiful. So for our international audiences who've jumped on board Wall of Sound, there will be an opportunity to scream Vagabond.
We're bloody hell hoping so, right? We're really trying our best to try and make it happen.
And look, the beautiful thing about Polaris being from Australia is I guess we get to keep you for a little bit longer. I mean,
you guys get us all the time.
Which, it's not exactly a bad thing because there was a period there where you guys were constantly overseas and we just wanted more and more from you. Now we have a plethora of shows from you guys.
Now it's the opposite.
Exactly. And we're not going to get sick of you guys because you've got this album, you've got this new material that you're working on, plus you could also throw back to the bangers and the old school stuff that you guys have. So it's not like the world is going to get sick of waiting for you.
I mean, I hope not.
they better not, because if they do, I'll come after each and every one of them like in Jay and Silent Bob and, punch the door down. But it's just exciting to see where you guys got to where you guys were before the pandemic. I don't see this as a backward step for you guys with what's happened around the world. I see this as holding on and the rest of the world waiting to be at a show with you guys again.
Well, that's like obviously as the pandemic kept going on and on, like we were kind of like, shit, like I hope this record doesn't die, but as band members do, like we're watching the Spotify stats, the this, the that, everything. Like the album is still doing the rounds pretty strong. Which is incredible for it's almost about to be 2 years old.
It's insane how much time's passed.
To still be, by the looks of things, still making an impact that it is it makes us very happy and makes us very confident that we can still actually do the tours that we're going to plan to do and still want to do before we kind of go into the next step, which is another album cycle or something. So yeah, I just want it to happen.
And look, I guess the beautiful thing about sitting on an album like that is you uncover hidden gems. Like, for
Yeah.
example, listening to the album and before it came out, Masochist, great song. Listening to the album after it came out, Waves, Above My Head, you know, songs that sat with me personally during the pandemic that I was, you know, going through a rough time myself, trying to figure out my way through, and then turning to your album and going, everything's okay because I feel like a connection with the band and this amazing album. So you created a pandemic album unintentionally. Pre-pandemic album, and then I'm amazed and intrigued to see what you guys do next, having been through what you've been through.
I'm glad that, you know, our music has been able to help you and a lot of others out there. Like,
Yeah.
that's what music is for myself, and like a big thing for me, like not being able to play shows is a massive thing for me, because like that's kind of like a little bit of what I've learned through this pandemic. Not having it, it's kind of like been my therapy. I can get rid of all the crap that goes on inside my head and let it out night after night, and like that gets me through my days and everything. And so, you know, being only able to like listen to my favorite songs and stuff like was still great, but like I'm glad that we wrote an album that has resonated so well with a lot of people out there, because I mean, you know what our music is like. We write about our lives and our depression and everything that we go through and dealing with it all, and for people to take what we do and help it helps them with their lives, and
What
like, you know, like
through.
you said, like it's helped you through the pandemic and a lot of other people out there. I think that is fantastic.
And look,
because we've all needed something to get through this. It's been pretty rough these past 2 years now.
It's been insane, exactly. But you guys have stayed strong. You guys are looking forward. You're here headlining an Australian music festival.
The hell?
At a fucking castle. What's going
Yes.
on? It's absolutely insane to think about. I mean, all
So
those years ago,
excited.
supporting Parkway Drive. Now you guys are headlining. They're headlining the second night. Do you have mind-blowing moments anymore, or is it just like, you know, that happened? Okay, cool.
Well, yeah, like you said, like we supported these guys a couple of years ago, which already back then was like, oh my god, we're supporting Parkway Drive.
Yeah.
What the hell? Like they're one of the biggest like heavy metal band in Australia and like worldwide as well. Like, and now we're co-headlining a festival alongside Parkway
them,
Drive.
yeah.
It's a big moment that we're pinching ourselves. Even like now, like we're here, it's going to happen in a couple of hours. I'm still sitting here like, are we really doing this? One, we're in a castle, which is really freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And we're about to play like arguably one of the biggest sets that we've done here in Australia as a band. You know, it's very exciting and a little nerve-wracking, obviously, because it has been a while since we played a show, but I can't wait to get out on that stage and get back into it.
Honestly, we're going to hear
Really,
the opening
really
bars. The
excited.
whole entire crowd is going to surge. It's going to be insane, just like old times.
I hope there's some jousting in the pit.
There should be jousting. If there isn't jousting, then we will make sure there's some
Socially
form of
distanced jousting,
Yeah, exactly.
all right?
Now, you've obviously got to spend a lot of time at home. Your beautiful girlfriend Tori's here in the background here. You obviously, you know, have time to do the family life, be at home again. You're about to go back on the road again and all of that. Have you enjoyed the time? Is she ready to kick you out and say, "Fuck off, go. I'm done."
Do you want to answer that one, babe? No, I mean, like I mentioned before, we kind of did, without realizing, burn ourselves out. Like, you know, we recorded the Death of Me in between touring, and like we had to go into the studio multiple times, and it was in between this tour, that tour overseas, and then like obviously when the pandemic hit, it was like obviously no one wanted it to happen, no one wanted to go into lockdown or anything, but it very much was when we actually were going through it, it was like, shit, I really needed to not go on tour. I really needed to be home. And then as the pandemic went on, obviously it was like, all right, I'm feeling good to get back out there.
Yeah.
It's like sitting here now, obviously it's been 2 years. Like it definitely, it wasn't necessarily welcome, but as I said, it definitely was needed, and we didn't realize it. And it's definitely opened our eyes to how to approach future stuff moving forward, not overdo it in terms of multiple tours, this, that, and like, you know, with us, like, you know, with this next record, we're definitely going to make sure that we have everything lined up correctly and get it recorded in a nice amount of time without stressing ourselves like we did last time. And you know, like I'm definitely feeling like I've been, as I said before, I've really been missing it. We all have, and I'm sure everyone around the world has been missing it as well. It's we're definitely itching to get back out there on stage and to just get back out to all our fans that are missing us around the world, you know.
Yeah, to showcase where you've been, where you come from, and what's next.
Yeah, like I said, the downtime, like it was a shock at first, but it was very well needed, and I'm sure, like, you know, a lot of people around the world have been feeling that as well, like being able to spend time with your loved ones, and there's a lot of people that haven't been able to spend time with their loved ones too, which is just as bad. But you know, hopefully we're working a way out of it to deal with this and move forward, and touch wood, that we continue moving in a positive direction coming out of this. So
Excellent.
yeah.
Well, it's a fantastic mentality to have. If there's anyone watching this who are in the same position as Polaris, where everything's stopped and stalled, this is evidence right here. Don't give up. Get back out there, and who knows where you're going to be in 2 years' time. It's insane.
It does get rough. I mean, I had a pretty rough months quite a few months ago, and you just gotta try not to focus on the negatives, even if that's all you can try to do. You gotta try your best to try and keep pushing forward. Like, we're all in this together, even if it doesn't feel like it, you know?
Yep.
We're all here, we're all trying to stick through this and support one another and make our way out this. So yeah, anyone out there that's going through anything rough with what's going on, to try to see some form of positive out of this, because it will get better. It's gonna get better, it will get better. Just hang in there.
Grab your loved one, scream loud, and tune into Polaris and what these boys do next. Jamie Hales, always a pleasure chatting with you, babe.
Oh, mate, always a pleasure, bro. If it wasn't bloody pandemic crap, I'd give you a kiss right now,
Yeah,
mate.
all right. Well, we'll save that for later.
Above
on.
elbows,
We'll
that's
get
close
there
enough,
we go,
right?
there we go. Oh, orgasmic. Wall of Sound at Night and Day Festival. Stay tuned for more.